Good old Konami. They're a definite candidate for my favorite developer of all time. They have a myriad of outstanding games, but unfortunately a lot of those games just kinda got lost in our own memories and they never really got to move on from there. One of those games is Jackal for the NES. Originally called Top Gunner, this arcade classic was ported to the NES along with quite a few other systems. However, since the NES version is the one that most people are familiar with, that's the one that I'm going to focus on. The game's premise is actually pretty simple. You destroy everything in your path, rescue different POWs, etc, etc. It's a very simple game, and in every sense of the word, a very true NES game. You control a Jeep with two methods of attack, a weak machine gun that can be fired by holding down either A or the B button, and a powerful missile that is launched every time you press either the A or B buttons. On top of contributing to your score, which would also lead to extra lives, rescuing certain POWs would also grant your Jeep a weapon upgrade. This made taking the time to rescue those hostages practically a necessity. The game was challenging, and even unfair at times, but it earned its reputation as a classic for being one of the most memorable top-down shooters of its time. Nothing was more painful than getting far and seeing that game over screen just staring you right in the fucking face. But it was so much fun that you just couldn't stop. And at the end of the day, that's a trait that I truly love about the NES games. They're fun, they're rewarding, and they just have this special something that I can't get enough of. Sadly, this game is kind of where Jackal's legacy both began and ended. It kinda baffles me that this game has never seen an HD remake, a sequel, a reboot, or whatever, and I'm sure that there's some stuff online, like a fan-made ROM hack or whatever, but considering how many of Konami's games, no matter how popular or obscure, have gotten a reboot or some kind of a tribute recently, I just don't see why Jackal hasn't. With one of the most enjoyable multiplayer experiences that the NES had to offer, it only makes sense for it to be ported to a service like XBLA or the PSN Marketplace and maybe even be given some online component as well as a local multiplayer. After all, reboots are kind of what have made the retro revival such a powerful movement in the past few years for the entire gaming industry, and it's bound to only grow stronger. While I do worry about the possibility that the revival of a game like Jackal might be destined to fall into obscurity, it would be home alongside other arcade classics like Tempest, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so many others that you can already find on your home consoles. Hell, Konami was even willing to reboot Rocket Knight recently, also known as Sparkster, and given that game's semi-obscurity, it truly does beg the question, why not do the same for Jackal? Though I wasn't alive to enjoy the NES in its prime, games like Jackal really do make me appreciate exactly how much the NES did for the games of today. Some games just never age, and their gameplay seems just as fresh as they would have been when they were just released. Jackal is such a game. A phenomenal experience and a classic in every sense of the word, Jackal is a truly timeless game, and it must be revived.